Welcome back, my friends, to the podcast that never ends. Yes, this is the Blue Day podcast, and for Chelsea fans everywhere, every day is a blue day. I am your host, the creator, the man with a face for podcasting, Keith Lawrence. Now, here at the Blue Day podcast, we are on a bit of a tour at the moment during the months of June and July, and we are speaking to passionate Chelsea supporters from around the globe. Last week, we spoke to the guys at the Dutch Blues. This week, we are speaking to the Chelsea group from one of my favourite places to visit. Here is Anu from the Atlanta Blues. Welcome to the Blue Day podcast. How are we?
I'm doing fine. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Thanks for coming on. Obviously, with the time difference being quite varied from between London and Atlanta, I appreciate you being on the show.
Thank you.
No problem. Before we sort of talk about Atlanta in general, like the Coca-Cola factory, the Braves and Stone Mountain, just want to sort of get your take on the Atlanta Blues as a supporters group. You know, how big is it back in Atlanta, this particular supporters group? And it's, to your memory, how did the supporters group start?
Well, I wasn't there when it first started, but it goes back to like 2014 during the no, not 2014, my bad. I meant 2018 during the Russian World Cup. I remember we had a watch party in like Midtown Atlanta, and we met this that's when I first met Brenda, and she was starting up the Atlanta Blues. I didn't realize that that there was actually a Chelsea group in Atlanta because I was stuck, watching this thing alone for so many years.
Right.
So at first when she started up, it was just like a small group of us. I think maybe like less than 10 of us, and later it blossomed itself into becoming like the third largest supporters group in the United States. Like we're like number 3, then there's Los Angeles at number 2, followed by New York at number 1.
Well, that's interesting because you sort of talk about the popularity of Chelsea in the States, and you see pretty much near enough every other season Chelsea go out to the States for pre-season friendlies. Is that something that you guys obviously sort of look at and feel that it's because of the popularity of Chelsea in this country that we're able to maybe see Chelsea in international friendly competitions over there?
Well, I would say yes. Is very popular here in the States, and that's what probably invited Chelsea to come here. But also, I know that the United States is still like is still a potential ground for not just Chelsea but several other European teams. Clubs to make their way over there and do these tours. That's why it's like now, right now, Chelsea's about to do their summer tour here. They're going to be playing in 3 cities, but also Man City's doing something, Everton doing something, Arsenal is doing something. So many teams are coming in doing these US tours.
And for you, what was it about Chelsea that appealed to you to become a supporter of the club?
Well, one thing about me is that I am a first generation African American. Like both my parents were African. So one of the things we always traditionally before Premier League, I was watching the World Cup like almost everyone else, and I purely had a soft spot for Didier Drogba. For Didier Drogba, especially when he put out that speech of his to help stop the civil war within his country, and obviously he's like legendary for that by amongst Ivorians, but also Africans all over the continent. So as I was watching him in the World Cup, I tried to figure out which club does he play for, and he played for Chelsea, and that's how I got into it. I also will say is that around that time, the Premier League became more accessible in the United States compared to like I've heard like you have to pay a lot of money just to watch them Sky Sports. But over here, I can just turn on my TV every Saturday morning, and Premier League is on the telly, no problem.
And it must be sort of good for you guys as well when it comes to a regular match day. And, what is it like for you guys, especially in Atlanta? What would a typical match day be like for the Atlanta Blues, whether it's a midweek game or an early kickoff?
Well, it really depends on the day and also the time. Of course, like some of the earliest games would be around 7 a.m. in the morning. So you would have so those times we usually don't really have like a pretty small turnout. Not many people can wake up early to go see those matches. But then of course we have like our 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock and further matches, we get a lot of people come in. Also the fact is there are not many pubs in Atlanta that actually can cater to such a thing. So a lot of the pubs are shared in a way, something which a lot of English people have come here and they've noticed that, and they said like, "Oh, that would never happen in England." So other than that is like basically, we come in, we have like breakfast and beer. With beer, that's good, except Sunday. Like we have Georgia liquor laws on Sunday, which means we can't serve alcohol until after 11:30.
Right.
So it's like the Sunday matches we have to be our best behavior and drink water and orange juice before we can crack the Guinness.
It must be difficult then, because when obviously again Chelsea are playing at like 4 o'clock UK time over there, you guys it's probably about 11, 10 o'clock in the morning. So again, as you say, it's probably not ideal while watching the game if you're ended up having to drink milk or maybe a
Yeah,
Sunday.
yeah. Like I said, man, it's a huge it's a for a foreign Chelsea. I mean, not just us American Chelsea fans, but for Chelsea fans all over the world. It's a commitment for us. I got friends in Australia who wake up, I don't know, shoot, like red-eyed mornings just to watch Premier League.
That's crazy. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. And it's funny,
So,
sort of looking at the difference between that and someone from the United Kingdom. They can just either just walk into a pub, as you say, or just flick it on the telly and it's there. And that's in their own little time zone. Whereas other people, they got to get up halfway through the night to put on the telly and watch their beloved Chelsea. So, by all means, it's great to hear the dedication from other Chelsea fans that no matter whether they're thousands of miles away, they still support the team just as much as the guy next door who goes 40 years to Stamford Bridge.
oh yes, 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 yes.
Now, one thing I wanted to sort of talk about in regards to the Atlanta Blues was, when you guys meet up, is it sort of a big razzmatazz event every time sort of Chelsea play? Is there sort of like significant events? And what I mean by that is, is there sort of like certain like cook-offs that I know that you guys are quite big into sort of in America? Is there sort of like a big event planned, or is it just mere number of people just going to the pub and just watch the game? Do you guys sort of try and keep it normal, or do you sort of push the boat out a little bit in terms of the event itself?
All right, so what we do is that when it comes to like the lesser matchups, let's say like if like Chelsea's playing like like Southampton, like a mid-table club like Southampton or Southampton or Burnley. A lot of times, most people just say, "Oh, I'm not gonna wake up to go. I'm not gonna go to the pub to see that. I'd rather just stay at home." We would do giveaways because we will get because we're such a big supporters club, we get a lot of stuff from the team. So we would bring it here and we'll raffle it off. We have raffled off um some little as keychains to sign jerseys. The jerseys. One time I got I got a signed picture from Sam Kerr from the women's squad.
Okay, yep.
Yeah, the squad. And then oh yeah, flags and whatnot. But that's like for like when it's to help just to bring people into the door. Now, when it comes to bigger events, like for example, 2021 Champions League final. Oh my gosh. Oh, it was pretty crazy over there. I'm surprised the local news affiliates didn't come over there because it was a banger. We had to come. They were like Brenda told us we had to come early, so I came in around 9 o'clock to help
Mm.
set up. And even I was there. There were already people like in line trying to get in there. But and as the hours went, it just kept getting bigger and bigger to the point I'm looking outside and I'm seeing Chelsea supporters waiting in line, and the line goes around the building. You know, because
Yeah.
that's how many people who wanted to get in, but we were like, there's not much you could do. And obviously, it was when we won. It was wild. I remember we were popping smoke, we were screaming Chelsea at the top of our lungs. I remember the police came. I'm sorry, man. When the police came and they're like wondering what's going on, we are like, "Yo, Chelsea just won the Champions League," you know.
Did they know what you was on about, or were they like, "Oh Christ, this is just another night"?
You know what? I think that cop probably knew what was going on because I think that because the pub probably has gotten numerous noise violations, but at the same time, I think people got used to it because they realized that's a pub, and
Yeah.
several clubs share that pub. Because there's us Chelsea, but also we have Liverpool over there as well. So you can imagine how that place was when Liverpool won the 2019 Champions League final, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. And
So
it
it
must
was
have it must have been interesting in ways as well when Liverpool played Chelsea, especially last season when we played them 4 times.
yeah, exactly. Whenever we played them, it was always a big event. You would like they would have to split. They had to split the bar. I mean, split the pub and even put ropes around it just to, tell where, just to say, all right, if you're Chelsea, you go here, Liverpool go there, and then upstairs and whatnot. I think one of the funniest things I remember we did was we had it was the no, it wasn't that one. It was one of the matchups, and we had a makeshift Champions League trophy along with this banner saying Champions of Europe. It was an official Champions of Europe banner that the club gave us. And we had a photo shoot of it outside, and the Liverpool fans were just looking at us with disgust and trying to like scream like we won it 6 times, we won it 6 times. I'm like, all right, get a domestic trophy, then you got one domestic trophy, like catch up, all right, for real. It was just like it's just constant banter up and down between us and them.
Of course, and yeah, obviously after last season with Chelsea playing Liverpool a few times, I think the rivalry stoked up a little bit. Not just in this country, but it does sound like it's spanned across the world. Anu, in regards to Chelsea itself, and we'll talk about the sort of the group shortly. What's your earliest Chelsea memory? So you mentioned about Didier Drogba. Was it around that time when Drogba was at his peak? Was when you sort of started to sort of really follow Chelsea? What was the sort of the earliest great memory you've got of supporting Chelsea?
Hmm. Well, yes, around that time, I remember Drogba was getting injured, but he was well known for score. You know how they always say he was well known for scoring at big moments, namely in the Champions League. But one of my earliest memories and probably my funniest one was that was it the semifinal or quarterfinal against Barcelona in 2012?
The semi-final.
Semifinal. Okay, yes. That semifinal against Barcelona. What's it called? I was at a pizza shop near my house. I was living in Maryland at the time, and the owner of the place was a Barcelona fan. He had Barca scarves and kits scattered around. I was the only Chelsea fan. I just walked in there and just to watch it because I'm good friends with the guy. He was not having it when I was screaming Chelsea when Fernando Torres pulled that thing, and I think he gave me that face. He just gave that face to say, "Yo, just get out, get out."
Right.
And I did not come back for a couple weeks. I didn't even go. I didn't even go there for the Champions League final. I think I just stayed home that day, just watching. Oh man, that was my earliest memory with Chelsea back in 2012. But other than that, like I said, it's just like those early days of watching, or those early days. Most of the time, I miss a lot of those Chelsea matches because it's like I almost never would read the schedule. So I'll be like waking up at like 9, but then I realized the Chelsea match just ended because it was playing at 7. And so I had to adjust. So over time, I had to adjust my sleeping schedule just so that I'd be able to wake up on time just to watch matches. You know, I think what was when it comes to the 2021 final. One of my favorite stories coming from that is a story about Edouard Mendy, the goalie.
Yep.
And I read his story of his struggles, and it amazes me that somebody like him was just like somebody with him who was like a complete unknown, winds up going unemployed, had to get on unemployment to support his girlfriend and new child. And it's funny, it's crazy that at that time, I think what was it in 2020? That was when Peter Cech became became part of the front office, and I think what was it in player development or scouting?
Yeah, he was technical director, so he was in charge of sort of like looking at the different departments, and then he had an eye for a few goalkeepers, and he recommended Edouard Mendy from his old club, which was Rennes, and that's how Chelsea managed to get him 2020. Yeah,
I know, and that was literally a blessing from earth, and like since that Champions League final, the guy has been on a run. Has been on a run from winning best goalkeeper titles. I was sitting here at home Sunday morning watching the African Cup of Nations final and just screamed Mendy when he blocked that fourth penalty against Egypt.
yeah, yeah. You mentioned the first team for Chelsea with Edouard Mendy. One player that I did want to speak to you about, and he's a bit of a hot topic at the moment. He divided a lot of opinions at Chelsea. Is Christian Pulisic. In your views, would you sell him? And what's been the general view of him over in the States for Christian?
Well, when it comes to Christian Pulisic in the States, he's like, there's like the running joke that he was known as the LeBron James of soccer. That's what somebody from like a reality show. Like this is a reality show that's called Pawn Stars, where a guy actually tried to pawn a signed Christian Pulisic kit, and one of the owners of the pawn shop gave him the title of LeBron James of soccer, and that moniker has been used many times here. So yeah, Pulisic is still like heavily praised among the media, especially on U.S. soccer, because he's like the face of U.S. soccer. But for some of us fans who are fans of different clubs, and we've seen other Americans play, we don't really view him like that. We always say this player is better. Like for me, like I'm a big Weston McKennie fan. I love Weston McKennie back when he played in Germany, and then now he played for Juve with Ronaldo. I also loved Brendan Eriksson, who's now playing for Leeds. But back then, I was watching him play in the MLS for Philadelphia. But like I said, but as for Pulisic's situation at Chelsea, I honestly believe that he needs to go because he's clearly not getting any time, and those injuries piling up has made him very unreliable among Thomas Tuchel and the rest of the coaching staff. But my problem is that like even though he probably wants to force a move, Chelsea might not do that because Chelsea still needs him for marketing reasons. Remember, Europe. The one person even explained that Europe is maxed out when it comes to advertisement. Same thing for Africa, but they still trying to crack into the Western Hemisphere because a lot of people in the Western Hemisphere have their own clubs, have their own clubs, or have no clubs at all, and traditions. So they still try. So they need that American star to get people going, get people watching. You know what I'm saying, right?
Yep. Yeah, I know. I understand that.
Yeah. So that's why I'm just saying this. Like Pulisic is we're still stuck with Pulisic until for like maybe another season. I say maybe if he plays good in this November in the World Cup, maybe he could force a transfer in the winter. I think that's what most players are probably looking at right now. Even though I think it's still going to be a pretty wild summer for a lot of players, like always.
Yeah. Yeah,
Mhm.
it'll be a very interesting summer, I think, and there'll be a lot of movers and shakers. I think there'll be a lot of players leaving the club, and I think there'll maybe even possibly 4 or 5 coming in. I think to Chelsea
Yeah,
this
that's what I
summer.
think. I'm hoping. I mean, this is like a dream move, but I'm hoping maybe Chelsea would take a look at Serginho Dest from Barcelona.
The
He,
right wing back, I believe, isn't he?
yeah.
Quite a
Well,
young
actually,
lad.
no, he's not a wing back. He's a no, he's actually a center back. Yeah, he's actually a center back. He's a center back there, and I know that what's it called? Barcelona's trying to get Christensen. I think.
Yeah, Barca pretty much has got Christensen signed and sealed. They're after Marcos Alonso, and
Yeah.
I think they're still not giving up on Aspilicueta as well. So there's a few players that could be going to Barca this summer.
Yeah, exactly. So I said, like, I like Serginho has been a great defender in La Liga, especially in Barcelona. And Barcelona is, let me know, like La Liga is known for attacking football. So Serginho would be a nice addition to it. And of course, Serginho is also American, so that's another American to market in the United States. See, that's why, I also say this is that this summer is probably going to be, we're probably going to see a lot of we're probably going to see a lot of Americans make way into the Premier League. We've already seen it, like the first domino has went down with Brendan Aronson coming to Leeds, and already Tottenham, I'm hearing Tottenham is about to put a bid for Weston McKennie out of Juventus.
Right. Yeah.
But anyway, that's all I got to say about Pulisic.
Well, we shall see if he's still at the club by 1st of September. It will be interesting. But just briefly back on the Atlanta Blues and for yourself, have you been able to go to Stamford Bridge much from last season? Was there any particular games that stood out for you in a good way or a bad way?
Well, I went to Sanford Bridge for the first time back in April. I wanted to go there in 2012. I mean, no, 2020 actually, but obviously, you know what happened. So we
Yes.
had to, yeah. So we had to postpone it twice. So this year, 2022, I went to Sanford Bridge for the first time. It was Chelsea versus Brentford. So, it was a historical West London derby. We haven't played Brentford since World War II, you know. So that was a very exciting match to actually go into. But obviously, the results.
Yes, no, I was there that day. It was not a pleasant day at all.
Yeah, it wasn't. But at the same time, it was beautiful being there. I mean, all those years of watching the club from a TV screen or red eye in the morning. No sun. It was a lot of times it was dark outside. Couldn't see anything, and I wept. I was in the lower Matthew Harding stand, 4 rows from the field, and I wept because I just couldn't believe that I'm there. And there was a guy who was in the section. He was in the other side of the corner. Walked over and he said, Asked me, are you okay? Are you fine? I said, I am. I'm just happy. I haven't. It's my first time being here, and I mean, I just couldn't. I still, again, it's still hard to believe that I actually was standing on Sanford Bridge. Even but the day before, I took a tour of it, and I got to, walk around the stands, went to the locker rooms. When the tour guy wasn't looking, but I didn't. The camera was there. I kind of like felt put like at least one hand on the grass just to get a feel for it. But I mean I'm not bothered by the loss at all. It was great it was just great to be there. That shot by Rudiger was insanely awesome, and
That was a good goal. That was
I
a very
know
good finish. Yeah.
I love it. I just said like way I said it. Wait, can you cuss on here?
Yeah, of course you can. Yeah, by all means.
All
Yeah.
right. Yeah, so I just saw it and I just say Rudiger was like, "Fuck it, the goal's there somewhere," and he just hit that banger. Um, Thiago Silva. I don't know how that guy does it. Like 37 years old and he's still rocking it over there
He's
in the
defying
back.
science. He
I,
really is.
I know it's defying science. Yes. Um, I got to meet also, I got to meet Mason Mount before that match.
Okay.
Yeah. I didn't. I want when I picked my hotel. I didn't know that the team hotel was just right across this bridge, and so I basically went over there for breakfast, and I saw a bunch of Chelsea fans just outside hotel, and I followed them. And I say, so where are you guys headed to? Like, oh, the team actually like are coming out of this door here. I was like, word. So of course they circled around and everyone was saying had people with with their autograph books, pictures, trying to get them signed. I was like, I just want to get a photo. So I got Mason Mount's photo. Love it to death. Love it to death. I posted on my profile, and people were just like, "How the hell did you meet Mason Mount?" I said, "I don't know. It just that's how it be." Brenda was there. Brenda got a picture of Mason Mount and Edward Mendy. I don't know how she was able to get it so quickly, but but I'm guessing she did it so quickly she didn't have time to get her face ready for the camera. I was like, I'm taking my time. I need to make sure I smile in front and next to Mason Mount. I would have loved to get Mendy's picture considering his story, and he just
Yes.
does such a
Yes.
fantastic job. But but yeah, that was that. And then after that Chelsea match, I walked around London. I also went to like 3 other get matches after that. So I went to Chelsea women the next day, met Lauren James. So that was pretty cool. And the Chelsea social media team was there and they realized they knew who we are. and they put pictures of they took our picture and posted it on their Chelsea pages, and we got we got a lot of activity from that. And then I went to Crystal Palace versus Arsenal on that following Monday, followed by Wednesday with Chelsea versus Real Madrid in the Champions League. I think one of my favorite moments of it was this guy behind me giving out the Courtois a cunt chant, which made me lose my mind. I'm like, yo, you guys are that vulgar.
I do remember that night well. I was in the shed upper, and there was a lot of booing and hissing, and quite a few choice words about Thibaut Courtois that day. Yes, but he did prevent Liverpool from winning the Champions League. So
Oh yeah, dude.
he's partly forgiven in my eyes. But I understand your point. In regards to somebody listening to the show that is from Atlanta, if anybody's interested in joining the Atlanta Blues supporters group, how would they go about and do it?
You can find us on social media. You know, Atlanta Blues CFC on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Um, I don't think no TikTok. We're not doing TikTok.
You're not the only ones not doing TikTok. Don't worry.
No TikTok. We ain't doing it. You can find us there, or you know, if you're in town or you want to watch a Chelsea match, go to for those Irish pub in Buckhead, Georgia. That's like in northeast Atlanta. Yeah, northeast Atlanta. We're there for every match day. If you go, you probably would see maybe one or two of us wearing Chelsea blue, and we can sign up, become a member. You get you'll get a free gift. We've given out keychains. I have a mug. You know, I actually have a mug and a beer glass that I got from Brenda when I joined all those years ago. We also, the best part about it was that we also get ticket priority. We also joined to be a True Blue member, so you can get the ticket priority list for upcoming matches next season. It was probably like the best because I didn't realize you need to do all this stuff just to get the opportunity to go and see Chelsea play. I thought I can just go on Ticketmaster like everyone else and do that. But I'm glad you guys do that because over here it's like because of Ticketmaster, you can get priced out very quickly.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You can get priced out very quickly just to get tickets. So I like that. You basically eliminate the scalpers that way. Other than that, I say we were a very fun group. Of course, this next season we're in the middle of transition. Our secretary Brenda, she's moving. Yeah, she's moving. So that is going to be passed down to several of us. There will be Jenna, Kyle, Andrew, and Jason, I believe. They're going to be the new. They're going to be the new board. They're going to be a board for the Atlanta Blues. So you can run any of them every match day. Every match day. If you can see all four of them there, or you can see just maybe one or two of them there. But that's who to talk to.
Right. And just finally, Anu, what does Chelsea FC mean to you, and what are your predictions for the forthcoming season?
So Chelsea to me it's honestly it's the blue, man. I love the blue. Love the blue. I love the blue. Even just the color blue itself. I've loved it since I was a little boy. I had so much blue stuff growing up. It's just that it was almost destiny that I became a Chelsea fan. And also, the thing is though the line, of course, the line crest. That's like a symbol. That's the line crest is a symbol of of Africa. A lot of African nations have the lion in their flags or anything. One of the things about me is that I'm like I told you earlier, I was a first generation African American. So my father is he's Cameroonian. So the Cameroon national team, they're called the Indomitable Lions, and they have the lion on the crest. And then my mom is Kenyan, who also they have the lion of the crest, the pride. The pride of Kenya is the lion. So I think that's what got me to it. Because I mean, probably I would the way I look at it, it could have been either Chelsea or Aston Villa, since they both use lions in their crests. I
Yeah.
don't know. Yeah, I don't know any other Premier League team that doesn't. I don't know. Shoot.
Well, interesting that you sort of talk about with Chelsea and regards to watching it from the States. Have you got any plans to watch Chelsea this forthcoming summer when they're in their
Well,
pre-season?
let's see here. We already. Oh, I almost forgot to talk about next season. But yeah, but first off, of course, the summer tour is on. I know people who are going to go to Charlotte. But I've already been to Charlotte, so I can. I'm not really into that. Also know people going to Vegas. That's going to be the most interesting one because Chelsea has never played in Vegas, and they're going to be playing at a very nice stadium over there. It's called Allegiant Stadium. That's where the NFL's Las Vegas Raiders play, and I mean, just seeing that that thing is like all black at
Right.
night. So when it's like dark out, you can't see it, they will put in the white lines, so it looked like something out of Star Wars. Like they call it the Death Star now. And it's gonna be that is gonna be a very enjoyable. But for me, I'm gonna be down in Orlando for the Florida Cup between Chelsea and Arsenal. I've already rented a house there, and there's like going to be a bunch of us staying there. We have the Atlanta Blues flag out and everything, and I'm meeting Chelsea supporters from Nashville, Boston, and Miami. Shout out to the Miami Blues and Music City Blues. They were also very good towards me. As for this coming season, like I said, we need to now that we have the drama past us from what happened with the sale and the sanctions and everything. Now we got to do is we have to reload the squad. I think still our biggest problem is depth. Depth is needed very much within the squad. That's why I think we couldn't. That's why I believe we couldn't compete against Liverpool or Man City. At Man City in the last few years because of that squad depth. That's why when what's it called before when the 2021-22 season started, I actually had Chelsea placed at third place because I did not believe they could win against Liverpool or Man City. I was thinking like we might have to focus more on trying to win some domestic cups or try to see if we can win the Champions League again. And obviously, Liverpool was just that damn good, and Benzema freaking killed us in the
Yes.
Champions League. Yeah, but I have some high hopes for the new ownership. Of course, for those who don't know, Todd Bowley, the new owner and part of the consortium, he is the part owner of the Los Angeles Dodgers, the Los Angeles Lakers, and the Los Angeles Sparks. All three of those teams have a very winning mentality, especially the Los Angeles Lakers. I bet everybody around here knows what a number 8 and a number 24 Laker jersey is. Or in some cases, you can even go back to number 32 with Magic Johnson. And also, so they know the winning culture. At the same time, they also with the Dodgers are probably one of the biggest spenders in the Major League Baseball. They always try to get top players, but also they're known for their development as well. They developed a lot of players through the AAA leagues. That's lower. That's a lower league in lower league in Major League Baseball. So the future truly is a bit bright for Chelsea. It's also very sad to see Roman Abramovich goes and hope the best for him. And hey, I'm just saying. I mean, once those sanctions clear off, don't be surprised if Roman tries to buy another team. That's gonna happen. Just waiting.
Well, that'll be interesting. That'll be something that will be discussed probably at length by many, many media moguls. But Anu, it's been superb to have you on the Blue Day podcast this week. I thoroughly appreciate your time, and I've enjoyed listening to your stories of watching Chelsea, being passionate about Chelsea, all over in a place that thoroughly enjoy going to every time I do go there to see family. But thank you very much, Anu. Hopefully we will see you down at the bridge for the forthcoming season. And you take care.
Here's one thing I gotta ask you.
Go on.
Are you ever coming to Atlanta anytime soon?
Oh, hoping. I'm hoping.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, if you ever come around, maybe like spring or into the summer, I mean, we have a 70,000 seat football stadium. I would like for you to come to.
There's quite a few things in Atlanta I still need to take off my to-do list. Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
But I will hopefully come over soon.
All right.
Superb. Anu, you take it easy, my friend.
You too, sir.